are generally under the impression that we only need oxygen to live. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. There is a laundry list of elements that animals need for survival. One such element is nitrogen. But we can't just get nitrogen from the air. It needs to be converted to nitrates via a process called nitrogen cycle. So, let us learn more about this fascinating concept. The air we breathe contains 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and the remaining are other trace gases. The nitrogen component of air is inert, so this means plants and animals cannot use it directly. To be able to use nitrogen, plants convert atmospheric nitrogen to nitrates, nitrates, and ammonia compounds by a process called the nitrogen cycle. Animals derive their nitrogen requirements from plants. With the help of microorganisms, animals derive their nitrogen requirements from plants. So bacteria play a significant and a huge role in nitrogen cycle. So because of bacteria, we have main 5 processes of the nitrogen cycle: nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification, ammonification, and assimilation.
Nitrogen fixation is a process by which molecular nitrogen in the air is converted into ammonia or related nitrogenous compounds in soil. Atmospheric nitrogen is molecular dinitrogen, a relatively non-reactive molecule that is metabolically useless to all except a few microorganisms. Biological nitrogen fixation converts nitrogen gas into ammonia, which is metabolized by most organisms. Nitrogen is fixed or combined in nature as a nitric oxide by lightning and ultraviolet rays. But more significant amount of nitrogen are fixed as ammonia, nitrates, and nitrates by soil microorganisms. More than 90% of all nitrogen fixation is affected by them. Some nitrogen fixation bacteria have symbiotic relationship with plant groups, especially legumes. Nitrogen fixation occurs between some termites and the fungi. It occurs naturally in the air by means of nitrogen oxide production by lightning. All biological nitrates fixation is affected by enzymes called nitrogenases. These enzymes contain iron, often with the second metal, usually molybdenum. Here you can see the nitrogen fixation equation by the enzymes. Nitrogenases are rapidly degraded by oxygen. For this reason, many bacteria cease production of the enzyme in the presence of oxygen. Many nitrogen-fixing organisms exist only in anaerobic conditions.
So the nitrification is a process of nitrogen compound oxidation, effectively loss of electrons from the nitrogen atom to the oxygen atoms. We're adding oxygen to NH3 in the first reaction and getting NO2- plus 3H plus ions plus 2 electrons. We're adding water to NO2- ion and getting NO3- plus 2H plus 2 electrons. Although nitrification also plays an important role in the removal of nitrogen from municipal wastewater. The cost of this process resides mainly in aeration, bringing oxygen in the reactor.
Next and the last step of the nitrogen cycle in the nature is called denitrification. It's the process when nitrate in the soil is reduced into nitrogen-containing gases such as nitric oxide, nitrous oxide, and nitrogen gas. This reaction occurs in Earth's soil where nitrate is reduced by microbial activity and nitrate removes nitrogen gas in the atmosphere. Denitrification is important in that it removes fixed nitrogen from the ecosystem and returns it to the atmosphere. This process can be described by following equation. Nitrate in the soil is reduced firstly to nitrous oxide, then to nitric oxide, and the final product of this reaction is nitrogen gas.
Nitrogen assimilation is the formation of organic nitrogen compounds like amino acids from inorganic nitrogen compounds present in the environment. Organisms like plants, fungi, and certain bacteria that cannot fix nitrogen gas depend on the ability to assimilate nitrate or ammonia from their needs. Other organisms like animals depend entirely on organic nitrogen from their food.